Oh, my name's Matt, and Brandon's my favorite pastor. My name's Matt, and I work here, and Ryan and I have been friends for, almost 30 years.
Yeah, at least.
You want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name's Ryan Zimter. I work for the Marion County Sheriff's Office.
We spent a lot of time together, right?
Yes.
We went to school together. We were the same age, same grade. Spent a lot of time at each other's houses. I'd
Yep.
spend the night at your house. You'd spend the night at my house, and all the shenanigans that came with that. Once we graduated high school, our lives kind of took different paths, right?
Seeing Matt go off and go to war, I kind of felt a similar calling, but I didn't want to, leave home, so to speak. I wanted to, serve my community here. So.
Yeah, and it was interesting because you stayed around here, and I ended up going off and overseas and in North Carolina and Georgia and all these different places, but we still maintained a friendship. Even though we were still friends, it was tough for you to associate with me because of some of the things that I was doing. Getting hurt in the military and going through a drug addiction, man. And with you being in law enforcement, that creates a chasm there. You had started a family, and I was still out being a knucklehead.
I had my own dark places that I traveled through quite frequently in my own mind, and Amber and I had started going to church, not here at the Naz, but another church here in Marion, and I made some connections there with some people, but I never really felt like I was a part of a family.
I had lived in my anger for so long. I had lived in my selfishness for so long. I had lived in bitterness and unforgiveness for so long that I had no idea how to give it up. And it was my place of comfort, which is so backwards. And it wasn't until I had this unbelievably amazing encounter with Jesus where, Jesus spoke to me. I was really doubting myself, and I just had heard this sermon about Jesus' amazing love for each and every one of us and how it was so personal. And I just began to think to myself, well, he wouldn't love me like that because of what I've done, And I'm not a good person. I'm a drug addict. I'm a scumbag. I'm a liar. I'm a thief. I'm not deserving of love. And before I could even finish that thought, Jesus dispelled that immediately and he said, you are deserving of love, and I do love you, and I died just for you. And that was November 23rd of 2011. And I gave my life to Jesus that night, and nothing has ever been the same.
It was like having one of your best friends die and come back to life. I mean, it's just having Matt back was amazing, and it's been nothing but positive things ever since. The relationship that our kids have, that our wives have, it's just it couldn't be any better.
God's the one that writes these stories. And, you want to talk about a story, man. Like, for me to be able to baptize your son.
Yeah. I've never cried more in a church than I did that day. And, I've been to weddings, funerals, but you baptizing Holden, for me, what a weight.
Our life choices caused us to drift apart, but we've come back together because of our love for Christ. If you're a person that finds yourself in a similar situation that I used to be, first thing I would say is there is always hope in Jesus, man. Sometimes I think we can get to a point where the enemy tricks us into thinking there's no hope, and I'm here to tell you that that's a lie. There's always hope in Jesus.
You can never give up hope. And putting your faith and trust in our Lord Jesus is so vital to the success of anyone that's struggling with addiction or any trials and tribulations for that matter.
And God will restore broken relationships. And I can say that, because, man, my brother's back,
Yeah.
I get to have my brother back in church with me. We're friends. It's like we picked up where we left off, but there's so much more. There's so much more because God has done so much for us and given us wisdom and given us a new mission and a new passion. And I just think that's really cool, man.